Let me warn you right now, if you think YNW Melly's nightmare couldn't get darker, brace yourself, because what just leaked behind those locked courtroom doors might drag him straight to the needle. Yeah, I said it. Death row picture, Miss Melly handcuffed, leaning close to his lawyer whispering, "Tell me they ain't got it, tell me they bluffing." But across the aisle, prosecutors got receipts, phone taps, and a fresh DNA twist that's about to slap every free Melly believer right in the face. Want to hear something wilder? The feds didn't just build a case, they got Portland humming like a church choir, and that's not all. Melly's own blood is spilling, the kind of secrets you only confess at 3 o'clock a.m. drunk to your worst enemy. So ask yourself, did Melly really think nobody would flip for a lighter sentence? Did he think those missing text messages would stay buried forever tonight? We're not reading headlines, we're ripping them apart, because if this new bombshell sticks, your favorite rapper ain't coming home. He's getting a graveyard cell, and that's if the needle doesn't win first. Don't blink. It's about to get filthy tools. Alright, buckle up, because now that you've heard the whispers, let's drag every dirty receipt into the light piece by piece. This isn't your average court update, this is the unfiltered nightmare swirling behind those smug lawyer smiles and camera flashes outside Broward County Courthouse. So first, rewind. Back when Melly's smile had TikTok on fire and every club from Miami to Houston blasted "Murder on My Mind" like it was gospel, everyone wanted to believe he was just a misunderstood genius. Some fans called him the melodic demon, half joke, half worship, but behind that diamond grin there was always smoke, and now we see the fire. Let's break this down simple. The feds never stopped watching Melly, even while he flexed in music videos. They were collecting GPS pins, scraping cell towers, and baiting his crew with hidden deals. The real monster betrayal didn't come from strangers, it came from the same wolves called brothers. Remember Portland? Yeah, Mr. Roeder, the one who swore loyalty under oath the first time this trial crawled out in public, while rumors says Portland didn't just bend under pressure, he snapped like a twig when the prosecutors promised him one sweet word: leniency. Imagine this scene inside a claustrophobic interrogation room, flickering ceiling light. Portland hunched over the table, sweaty palms, lawyer whispering, "If you stay quiet, you die in here too." Portland glances up, breathes heavy, then croaks out the first piece, "I'll talk, but I want protection." Boom, one squeal, and Melly's so-called fortress turns into a glass house full of bullet holes. Now here's where things get stickier. Then Florida humidity. The phone logs. Prosecutors didn't just dig up old calls, they subpoenaed burner phone pings, WhatsApp threads, and those shady voice. Melly thought those messages were long wiped, but wrong. An investigator leaked under anonymity. Most rappers think Snap and Telegram are safe. They forget we have towers, metadata, and angry ex-girlfriends. Melly's crew forgot that too. Speaking of ex-girlfriends, meet Mariah Sweet on Instagram, savage in the witness box. She dipped out of the country when this case first caught fire, ghosted subpoenas, and lived her best life on an island while Melly rotted behind bars. But guess what? A customs flag at Miami airport, and a prosecutor dangling a fat deal. Flip on him, and you're free before lunch. Pulled her back. She flipped faster than a pancake on Sunday morning, claiming she had screenshots, voicemails, late-night calls where Melly begged her to disappear before the first trial. Some might roll their eyes thinking she's lying for clout, but remember, in court, a dramatic sob story with timestamps hits harder than any tweet, and Mariah knows how to cry on cue. Meanwhile, fans outside are eating it up. Some scream #free Melly, painting murals on street corners. Others spam his mom's phone. Nonstop. Came in with a curveball, claiming the DNA evidence was contaminated, the spatter patterns misread, and that the whole forensic story was a rush job trying to pin everything on Melly. But the judge, not buying it. That move didn't slow down the prosecution. If anything, it made the jury lean in harder, feeding off the drama. Outside the courtroom, the internet's split, some still screaming "Free Melly," others convinced the evidence is too thick to deny. Meanwhile, Melly's mom keeps crying on blogs, begging for mercy, while donations to his defense fund keep rolling in, because martyrdom sells more than facts ever could. But inside, it's a cold, hard fight where only the truth matters. And the stakes couldn't be higher. The prosecution, wiping away tears, but with a steely glare that says she's ready for round two. Then the door swings open, and in walks Agent Ramirez, the Fed's lead investigator, carrying a thick file that instantly silences the room. He steps up to the bench, lays down a USB stick, and announces, "What we have here is new evidence. Phone footage from an undisclosed witness that changes everything." Suddenly, every eye is glued to the screen as grainy but undeniable video plays. It shows a shadowy figure firing shots, and the angle makes it clear Melly isn't the shooter. The courtroom gasps. The prosecution stiffens. Defense lawyers exchange relieved glances. But just as hope flickers, Agent Ramirez adds, "However, this footage also shows Melly nearby, engaged in something far more sinister, passing a weapon to an unknown accomplice." Chaos erupts. The judge pounds his bench, demanding order. The game just flipped again. This isn't a simple case of victim or shooter anymore. It's a tangled web of alliances, betrayals, and secrets hiding in the shadows. The truth, still out there, waiting to be unraveled. That night, neither Melly nor Bortland but their getaway driver caught on camera, nervously glancing around while swiping a credit card. The jury leans in, mouths agape, as the prosecutor lays out the timeline. The shooting, the escape route, the frantic calls between phones, all synced perfectly. Each piece fits like a puzzle, locking Melly deeper into the crime scene, painting a picture far from the innocent image his fans cling to. The courtroom's buzz turns into a heavy silence, every eye on Melly, who sits stone-faced but inside. The pressure is mounting like a storm about to break. Judge blinks hard, trying to process the weight of that message. That voicemail wasn't just a slip, it was a blueprint for silence, a direct order to stay quiet and cover tracks. Suddenly, the defense's arguments sound hollow, and Melly's tough guy act starts to crack. Every second, the noose tightens, and the jury can't help but wonder, how deep does this conspiracy run? And how much longer can Melly keep playing innocent? The tension is electric, everyone's waiting for the next bomb to drop. The courtroom feels like a pressure cooker about to blow, and the media frenzy only cranks it higher. No one knows who this mystery witness is, but one thing's clear. Melly's world is unraveling fast, and whatever comes next could be the final nail in the coffin. Fans who once believed in him are now caught in a storm of doubt, loyalty clashing with the crushing weight of the evidence. The question hanging over it all: can anyone really escape the fallout when the truth comes out? But the jury isn't buying it anymore. The walls are closing in, and every new piece of evidence feels like another nail in Melly's coffin. The defense lawyer's words echo hollow in a courtroom saturated with betrayal, secrets, and shattered trust. Outside, the buzz grows louder. This isn't just a trial, it's a full-blown reckoning. And the ghost from Melly's past might just be the final act in this deadly drama. Scream in disbelief, clutching their phones as the courtroom tension skyrockets. The old-school forensics expert's testimony isn't just evidence, it's a brutal verdict in motion. The illusion of innocence crumbles, replaced by cold, hard facts that cut through every defense strategy. And in that courtroom, the truth feels heavier than ever, dragging Melly closer to a fate he can no longer deny. Ghost of a man who knows too much and trusts too little. The streets buzz with rumors, and the tension hangs thicker than the humid Florida air. Everyone's waiting for the next move. But one thing's clear: this trial isn't just about Melly anymore. It's about a system ready to make an example out of anyone who dares to mix violence with fame. Ghost of loyalty that died the moment the plea deal hit his desk, and as that door closes, so does any fantasy Melly had that this would blow over like every other rap, beef, or quick court spin. The game changed, the evidence changed. And what happens next? It's the final card, the one that could flip this whole circus into a certified death penalty slam dunk or blow it apart in mistrial chaos. Ready to hear that card? Stay strapped in, because part 3 drags you straight into the final betrayal and trust. You won't sleep right after Yahoo heard it. So here's where every last excuse, every fan theory, and every TikTok lawyer loses its grip. The final betrayal wasn't Bortland squealing or Mariah crying for a lighter sentence, it was something much filthier, and the feds waited until everyone thought they'd fired their last shot before sliding this bomb right under the jury's nose. Court resumes after recess. The judge barely sits before the lead prosecutor adjusts his tie like he's about to drop a plot twist no Netflix true crime writer could dream up. He nods to a deputy, who steps out and wheels in a gray storage bin sealed with an evidence tag from another county. Nobody in the gallery knows what's in it, not even Melly's lawyer, who's now sweating through his $1,000 blazer. The prosecutor cracks the seal, reaches, and pulls out a battered iPhone, an old one, half the screen shattered, paint fleck stuck in the corner like it fell behind a car seat and lived there for years. He holds it up, dead silent. The jury leans in. Melly shifts eyes, darting to Bortland, then back to the phone. Turns out that phone belonged to a YNW crew runner, the dude nobody ever bothered to remember, a ghost homie who cleaned up after the big dogs and never got credit in the tracks. He disappeared right after the shootings, rumored dead, rumored hiding in Georgia. Rumored locked in a rehab somewhere, well, not dead, not gone, just found and flipped inside that dusty iPhone voicemails secret. Videos, screenshots of Melly ranting about money splits, about loyalty, about these snakes trying to eat for free off my name it. Even had a screen recording of a private group call the crew made hours before the so-called drive-by, and in that call, voices arguing, tension thick as blood, then Melly's voice slices through, if they don't learn to stay in line, they going to get lined up. Simple courtroom oxygen vanishes, the defense lunges up screaming objection. So loud the stenographer flinches, the judge hammers down twice for order too late. The jury heard it, they saw the waveform dance on the courtroom monitor, and no matter how many objections or fancy lawyer spins, that sentence hits the human brain harder than any ever could diagram ever could. Melly tries to hide it, but for the first time his mask cracks, a vein pops at his temple. His jaw clenches, his lawyer tries to whisper calm words, but Melly won't even look at him. He knows exactly whose phone that was. And he knows exactly who gave it up. Rumors say the feds found the ghost homie in a motel near Tallahassee, strung out begging for immunity. If he coughed up the last piece, tying Melly to a plan, not an accident, and the deal state promises no time if he shows up in court, swears under oath, and points the finger directly at the man the fans still chant for on social media outside. The courthouse chaos rips through the fanbase like a lit match on gasoline. Some double down, they fake an evidence it's a setup, free Melly till they kill me, others backtrack fast. Man, I've been saying he's shady, I'm off his playlist forever dog. Hip-hop blogs feed on it like vultures, clips of the ghost witness trending next to Mariah's crying confession, Portland's shady handshake tweets, and every old mugshot the feds can leak to the press. Meanwhile, Melly's mama goes live on Instagram from the courthouse bathroom, mascara streaking her face, cussing the system, cussing Mariah, cussing Portland, begging followers to donate to his legal fund because, quote, they trying to kill my baby before he ever touches another. Mike comments, flood and prayers, clown emojis, threats to the DA, desperate pleas to Akon and DJ Khaled to bail him out. But none of that sways the cold machinery inside that courtroom, because while the internet argues, the state draws up the final papers. If Melly's found guilty with premeditated malice, Florida wants the ultimate punishment, no cushy life sentence. No parole someday, they want the same end he allegedly gave Juvian, and sack only wrapped in steel bars and a lethal injection. Needle humming on standby, so what cards does Melly's team have left? They push the drive-by angle so hard they sound like a broken mixtape. No gun recovered, no reliable witness. GPS says he ran, but prosecutors shove it all back in their faces with maps, phone pings, shell trajectory, and 3 flipped witnesses. Mama goes live on Instagram from the courthouse bathroom, mascara streaking her face, cussing the system, cussing Mariah, cussing Portland, begging followers to donate to his legal fund because, quote, they trying to kill my baby before he ever touches another. Mike comments, flood in prayers, clown emojis, threats to the DA, desperate pleas to Akon and DJ Khaled to bail him out, but none of that sways the cold machinery inside that courtroom, because while the internet argues, the state draws up the final papers. If Melly's found guilty with premeditated malice, Florida wants the ultimate punishment. No cushy life sentence, no parole someday, they want the same end he allegedly gave Juvian, and sack only wrapped in steel bars and a lethal injection. Needle humming on standby, so what cards does Melly's team have left? They push the drive-by angle so hard they sound like a broken mixtape. No gun recovered, no reliable witness. GPS says he ran, but prosecutors shove it all back in their faces with maps, phone pings, shell trajectory, and 3 flipped witnesses. One more time, and Melly, he doesn't flinch anymore. He just stares at the jury box like he's reading their minds, trying to figure out which one will hold out for him. Which one might buy the idea that all this betrayal is just street rumor dressed up in a courtroom suit. Meanwhile, the judge tells both sides to wrap it up. Final arguments tomorrow. Deliberations start at dawn. Reporters stake out parking lots ready to beam the verdict around the world the second the foreman stands up. Fans camp outside with signs and portable speakers blasting old tracks on loop. A grim celebration that feels more like a funeral watch party than a protest. Behind the scenes, the prison moves paperwork to transfer Melly to a secure wing if the worst happens. The chaplain visits his cell every night, offering prayer slips. Nobody wants to talk about Portland's lawyer filing for witness protection the moment the verdict comes in, because street code or not, everybody knows snitches don't breathe long on Florida sidewalks. And all of this boils down to one moment, that courtroom door swinging open, the silence breaking, the future hanging on a single word, jury foremen clearing their throat, and the world hanging on whether they say guilty with recommendation for death or just guilty. So ask yourself, Was Melly a misunderstood genius caught in street politics, or a cold strategist who wrote his own fatal chorus the night his crew bled out? Whichever side you believe, once that gavel drops, this saga won't just change one rapper's life I tell, remind every flashy kid with a mic that even platinum hits can't muffle a ghost's confession or a mother's last tear on the witness stand. Keep your eyes on that courthouse door, because once it cracks open, hip-hop's next chapter might be written in an execution chamber instead of a recording booth. So now you've heard it all: the betrayal, the voicemails, the gas station tapes, the ghost homie flipping the entire story upside down. But here's the real question. Is this the final nail in YNW Melly's coffin? Or is this just another messy chapter in a system that loves to chew up young black rappers and spit them out when the cameras stop rolling? Think about it. How many times have we seen this movie? A kid comes up from the gutter, hungry, hardened, hollow-eyed, turns pain into platinum, struggle into streams, trauma into chart toppers. That's the grind. That's the blueprint. It's a miracle and a curse, all wrapped in a beat and a bar. From roaches on the wall to rollies on the wrist, it felt like destiny. Melly didn't just survive the system, he bent it, flipped it, and put it on wax. But then, one slip, one snake in the crew, one trigger pulled, and now it's all back to shackles, concrete walls, and fluorescent lights that never turn off. But is that what's really happening here? Or is this something deeper? Something darker? See, on paper, it's simple. Two friends murdered. The evidence, lyrics, texts, surveillance. But when the courtroom doors swing open and the facts start leaking like blood in a gutter, the lines blur. Was Melly the puppet master? Or just another pawn in a system that loves to elevate you, only to tear you down the moment you misstep? Right now, the world's watching through cracked screens and polarized lenses. Half the internet screaming, "Free Melly forever." They say he's a product of a corrupt system, a scapegoat with a target on his back since day one. They point to the lack of motive, the holes in the prosecution's timeline, the inconsistencies in witness testimony. They see a young black artist with a troubled past being tried not just for murder but for who he is and where he came from. But the other half, they're not buying it. They call him a wolf in designer clothing, a self-destructive narcissist, who trusted no one but his gun and his ego. They look at the lyrics, the social media flexing, the courtroom smirks. They see a man who made it out but couldn't let go of the streets that forged him. To them, this isn't about race or fame, it's about accountability. About 2 lives lost. About justice, no matter who's on the stand. And you. Your voice matters. So let's cut through the noise. Was Melly a victim of betrayal, set up by people he once fed and clothed? Or was he the architect of his own downfall, blinded by paranoia and power? Some say the streets raised him, but never taught him how to leave. Others say fame and fortune just put a spotlight on a devil that was always there. It's not just a legal battle, it's a culture war. It's about how we treat black pain when it's turned into art. About whether lyrics are evidence or expression. About whether making it out the mud means you're forever clean or just better hidden. Drop your truth in the comments. Did Melly seal his fate the moment he picked up the mic and the medal? Or is this another cautionary tale of what happens when the justice system targets those it doesn't understand? And while you're at it, smash that like if you're tired of the lies on both sides. Hit subscribe, because the second that verdict hits, we'll be right here dissecting it all. We're not TMZ, we're not the prosecution, and we're not his defense. We're the eyes and ears of a generation watching the system in real time, trying to separate fact from fear, bars from confessions, and loyalty from betrayal. The story's not over. It's just hitting Act 2. We've seen this script before: rising star, mysterious deaths, explosive trials. But every time, the ending's different. Why? Because it's never just about what happened, it's about who controls the narrative. Is Melly the villain of his own story, or the hero in a tragedy written long before he had a choice? Keep your head on a swivel. Stay tuned, stay loud, stay suspicious, because in this gay music, fame, the street's loyalty's a myth, and the truth. The truth is whatever the last man standing has the guts to whisper on the stand when everyone else is gone. The feds have their version. The fans have theirs. The media, they flip whichever way gets more clicks. But the real story, that's on us, on you. So tell it. What do you believe? Who do you trust? And when the courtroom doors finally crack open, will you be ready to face the truth, whatever it is? Drop your take in the comments below, because this case, it ain't just about Melly. It's about every kid who ever dreamed of making it out, only to find the price of fame might just be your freedom.